Okay, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and joining us for a very special segment in his second appearance on and new MMA show from Boxing on YouTube, Mr. Tommy O'Neill, joining us to talk about and break down and preview some very big fights in the boxing world. Tommy, how's it going? What's going on with you, buddy?
It's going really great, Mike. It's nice to see all you guys again. And, can I say, as the greatest guest that this show has ever seen, hands down, it's good to be back, baby.
We are glad to have you back. I'm glad we got past the technical difficulties here. And now we got a boxing segment that's just for you. Standalone
Your
video.
boy's a dinosaur. It ain't your fault. It's good, baby. I'm ready to go.
At least you're self-aware. That's good. That's good.
That's it, buddy. That's it. Hey, God bless you, Mike. You know it.
So, Tommy, for the folks who don't know yet, tell us about Boxing, your YouTube channel.
Thank you, Mike. Well, Boxing has grown over the years. I've been doing it for a little bit longer than you guys. You guys are climbing up fast, and I absolutely love it, dude. And you guys deserve every bit of it. And I watch the show every single week, I'd like to say. And you guys just have great takes. You've had a lot of underdog picks, you guys. That's a big thing. But on Unboxing, we've been growing kind of steady for years. But we're up there now. We're up there with subscribers. We have a lot of loyal fight fans. And just if I can say real quick, a lot of this like fancy kind of fucking artwork and a lot of this stuff has come from viewers. This microphones come from a viewer, and that's the kind of stuff that just really inspires me, and we appreciate everything. And anytime anybody comments on my page, I would love to talk boxing, as long as people aren't getting disrespectful and stuff, any kind of disagreements, any kind of convos, I'd love to talk boxing with people, and I just love it. I'm here for the passion, baby.
Yeah, man. Well, we are crossing paths once again, bringing you on our mixed martial arts show to drop some knowledge on us of things that are going down in the boxing world. Let us begin by discussing and breaking down this past weekend, Tyson Fury. Many say one of the greatest of all time in the heavyweight division, defending his titles in a 6-round knockout over Mr. Dillian Whyte. So what went down in that bout, Tommy?
Tyson Fury whipped that dude's ass. I mean, really, the thing is that, like, Tyson Fury is an all-time great. What went down in that bout that a lot of people don't talk about is that actually what Dillian Whyte was doing was using that cross guard a lot. He was actually, if you go back and watch the fight, he's using the cross guard a lot, like Smoking Joe Frazier used to do, to protect from the uppercut. So Tyson Fury can outbox him anyway, but it's clear that Tyson Fury went in there for the knockout because you can see Dillian Whyte using that cross guard until Tyson Fury's bringing in so many jabs. He kind of stops throwing hooks and uppercuts that didn't land before in the fight, and he starts throwing jabs so that he brings the guard up here and he can throw the uppercut through the middle. And that's just intelligent, man. He also throws the uppercut from a position that's coming straight up the gut. It really is almost like you want to, like, kind of almost hit yourself with it. Is how you would like to do it is most effective, and he accomplished that. He accomplished that in stunning fashion. I have a lot. Yeah, what's that?
I was going to say, from what I heard, it seems like Whyte is kind of historically open to the uppercut. So I'm imagining Fury was probably looking to set that up.
Good man. He is open to the uppercut. He got sent to hell by Povetkin with that shot. He has lost before to that shot, but he came back and won in that Povetkin fight in a better fashion than Anthony Joshua came back and just boxed from the. I mean, he came back and stopped Povetkin as well. And Dillian Whyte definitely, as I said on the podcast, I thought that this would be a better performance from him. I did not pick him to win this fight, but I actually thought that this fight would be more. And I almost still hold this feeling that that fight, even after it went down, would be more competitive than an Anthony Joshua fight that
Oh, wow.
everybody wants to see. I have lost the taste for him fighting Anthony Joshua.
yeah.
I'd like him to fight Alexander Usyk. I think that Anthony Joshua gets broken up by him as well, because Tyson Fury is a generational talent, and as Omar shouted out in the podcast, which I appreciate you, buddy. He is an all-time great. He really is. Now, if I can say before any other questions, as far as I rank him an all-time great, that depends, and this is really a subject I wanted to touch on. It depends on where, because a lot of people are talking about this. It depends on how you rank a pound-for-pound list of all-time heavyweights, because if you rank it off of not only the eye test, but who you actually think would win in a mythical matchup with any other heavyweight of all time, Tyson Fury beats every human being. I want to really be clear about this as a clear point, because a lot of times I kind of ride the fence. Tyson Fury beats every single human being who has ever lived on planet Earth in a boxing match.
Wow.
And so, but
Wow.
But
Wow.
I mean, I agree.
But-
For the record, I agree.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's too big. He's too big to be moving like that as well, to be such a
To be
good
moving
goddamn
like
boxer and an enormous human being whose only flaw was never a chin, never a boxing ability, was only always a power flaw. And he has brought that to he has conquered that boxing with Sugar Hill, who, by the way, shout out to Sugar Hill, dude. Sugar Hill never wears a shirt when he's around Tyson Fury. I love that. I was almost tempted to take my shirt off on the show. Sugar Hill just don't like to wear that shirt around him. But yeah, no, but it depends. If you rank it on that or who you think he beat, I agree. I think he beats every single person ever. I mean, if you knew, never mind Muhammad Ali, dude. Who? If you knew somebody that was good, but it doesn't matter. He beats everybody. But I personally, and I'll say that, I personally like to make my pound-for-pound list a little different, because there's no wrong or right answer there. It's just a matter of how you judge it. If you judge it off the eye test and who you think he'd beat, it's that way. But the way I like to do it is the only way that to me really matters, is that who have you fought, and who actually have we seen you beat, versus other people's level of competition. That's how I like to judge things. And so in that sense, he does fall a little bit short, but he's still up there. He's still a top 10 for me, but he falls a little short of other guys that have done incredibly impressive things. I mean, he did fight Deontay. Well, as we gave the man all that praise, he did fight Deontay Wilder 3 times. He did have 4 years off of boxing before that, after beating Klitschko. And then, and now a Dillian White fight. And I would like to see him, and I do think that it matters for his legacy to come back and fight Alexander Usyk for those other 3 belts and unify the division, I think that matters a lot for him and the pound-for-pound ranking.
That's what I just wanted to ask you. What is he, 33 years old, Tyson Fury? Is that right?
Wow.
I don't know why that number was in my head. Am I off?
Yeah,
Seriously?
he's around there. He might be 33. He might be 34, something like that, I believe. But
Right, hold on.
yeah,
Tyson Fury age.
Is that young?
Yeah, dude, he's
Oh
33
my
years
God.
old. So
yeah.
my
But
question
that's
is
not
this
super old
man
for a heavyweight.
is in his prime. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he's in his prime. He's 33 years old. He's so good still. It's not like he's falling off in any way. If anything, he's getting better. He has this Usyk fight waiting for him. It's like a potential legacy changer. His legacy would take another huge jump if he could take out Usyk. So what is the reasoning for him to not at least say, all right, I'm going to do one more fight and take that fight, let alone still more than that he could be doing? But why would he walk away right now?
I don't think he is. I'm really torn on this, to be honest. I don't want to come here like an expert. I'm actually really torn on this subject, because a big part of me wants to really believe that a guy who has suffered through all the things that he has, and a guy that has accomplished the things that he has, when he I always picked him to win those water fights, but when he the second one I wasn't sure about, even, really, honestly, and when he said, I'm gonna come out here, he's always known as a boxer. he's got a lot more fame recently. So a lot of people that know Tyson Fury don't know him from the days where he beat Klitschko, and he was a great then. But the thing is he's always been a boxer, and he used to have, like I said, that criticism that he can't power punch, and especially for such a big guy, and he didn't stop a lot of people. He just outboxed them. So, the big thing, leading into the Wilder fight, when he said, I'm gonna stop him, I'm gonna bully him, I'm gonna walk him down, I thought, I love this guy, but he's bullshitting, right? He's getting whatever. He doesn't do that. And when he did that, I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but really, like, that's such an accomplishment in itself. And when you say that and everybody's making fun of you, when you're 400 pounds, and a drug addict and willing to kill yourself, and you're making videos of you running up hills as 400-pound man who could barely get going, and saying, I'm going to come back, and people are making fun of you, and you do that, and then you say you're going to bully the bully of the heavyweight division, and you've always been a boxer who doesn't stop, and you do that, dude, I really am torn between, like, I want to believe this man when he says something, period. But I'm torn with the fact of I'm torn with the fact that of what you just asked, that why wouldn't he do that? Alexander Usyk's a hell of a boxer, but I just think not only does he unify the belts, but Alexander Usyk's moving up from cruiserweight. Yeah. Okay, he was a unified cruiserweight champ. So Tyson Fury is an enormous man for any other comparison of a heavyweight, never mind a cruiserweight, and he can box. And let's say Usyk can even box a little better. That size is such a difference, and I just think he can win that.
Yeah, isn't Usyk only 6 feet tall? Even?
Yeah, Usyk's a cruiserweight. He's not big.
Oh my God, he'd be dwarfed.
He's fantastic, though. Much love for Alexander Usyk. Hey, shout out to, love your woman, fight for your country. Shout out to that.
I wonder if Fury feels like he can't get up for that fight. Like, I wonder if he looks at Usyk and he's like, this guy's too small, like he can't give me a challenge. Do you think that could be it?
No.
No?
No. I either think that he's going to live up to his word for his wife, or that he'll, just like he took this fight when he already kind of said he'd retire, but he didn't say anything publicly before that he would take the Usyk fight, because I think he knows for sure that he can win that fight. Like I said, I think he has I think he's a smart guy, and that he'd have a lot of respect for Usyk's boxing ability, but I think he just knows he's too big, and then he doesn't just rely on power, he can box as well, and the size just being such a factor, I think overwhelms, things.
Well, a lot of buzz was generated in the wake of this knockout over Dillian Whyte, because Tyson Fury is talking about his retirement, walking away from the sport in his prime. Like we said, only 33 years old. And part of the buzz has been that he has been open about being receptive to huge marquee exhibition fights. And right after this win against Dillian Whyte, who gets in the ring but the current reigning UFC heavyweight world champion, Mr. Francis the Predator Ngannou, and they both chummy, arm in arm, arms around each other, basically, talking about, we're going to have an awesome exhibition fight. I think one of them said, we're going to find out who is the baddest man on the planet. What are your thoughts, Tommy, on Tyson Fury possibly taking on Francis Ngannou in a boxing ring? There was some talk about it not being a pure boxing match, maybe some kind of modified rule set. Personally, I think anything involving punches only, I don't care if they're wearing boxing gloves, MMA gloves, Tyson Fury is going to piece up our boy Francis Ngannou. There has to be some kind of threat of a takedown or something like that for Francis to have any kind of a chance. Give us your thoughts.
I do have some thoughts, but I want to start this out by just loving how Tyson Fury was talking about Francis's hog.
Yeah, I know. It was so ridiculous. And Ngannou,
come on, that's some boxing style. I got to do that. But yeah, no, I think they should allow like some leg kicks or something. Is what I think. I think you don't allow wrestling, right? Because I mean, and as an amateur, and see now, I'm a boxing, an avid boxing fan. I used to box a bit. I'm very much into that sport more for sure. But I really love MMA, dude. And I pay for these pay-per-views. I've been watching it for years myself, and so I'm a big fan of that. And so I have a great appreciation that, there's a difference. And it's not like as a boxing fan, I'll tell you, yeah, he just fucks him up, and then that's it. He does in a boxing match, but that's the same way that he can't win an MMA match. And Francis ain't even a grapple-known guy, and he's not known to grapple or wrestle or anything like that, except for his very last fight. He's never done that before then.
Yeah, that
one good wrestler. One, huh? Hey, Cyril Gahn should have won that fight, goddammit. He wasn't known for that before that. Sure. But even with that, which was a great performance for wrestling, a guy that's not known for wrestling, but he's not, either way, even after that, he's not known for that. He's still fighting a guy, Cyril Gahn, who doesn't wrestle at all. Nobody's really, how many attempts of takedowns? Mark, you could break out these stats, but how many attempts of takedowns have been attempted?
What would be different against, nothing would, the same
sake.
Exact scenario would be in play against a guy like Tyson Fury.
Yeah, that's why I hate these fights.
Yes,
because
that's what I was getting at. I'm sorry, Mike. You're a good man, speeding up to show you. That's what I was getting at. He's not known for it, but you're dealing with a guy who at least trains it all the time before we've ever seen it, and showed it impressively in his last fight as well. He's a mixed martial artist, guys. The thing is if you're a boxing fan, you do have to appreciate the fact that the worst grappler can beat the best boxer in a full-on MMA match because they're still training this stuff, dude, as opposed to not at all.
I agree.
Right?
I really do. I mostly agree. I think a guy who's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu could take down a pretty high-level boxer.
Yeah,
it would be pretty much game over.
Mayweather, or kick his legs off, or one or the other. And it's the same way that, of course, Francis Ngannou messes up Ngannou. Now, I do like, at the bare minimum, if you're going to make us pay for this and you're going to do this thing all over again, I thought, you see the poster here, I thought that Conor Mayweather fight would be dope. I think it was dope, dude. I think Conor really showed up for that goddamn fight. And he clearly lost it. And the reason he lost it was really from gassing, and it was a lot later than I thought that he might. Same. It was a lot later, dude. There's a big time difference between, mostly 3, 5-minute rounds and main events or championship for 5-minute rounds as opposed to 12 threes, dude. There's a big difference there. There's a big difference of how you manage your cardio in the different sports as well. But if you're gonna make us pay for this thing, I think Tyson messes him up either way as long as you don't implement wrestling. I think that a fair ground, if they want to put on a circus again of this sort of kind of thing, I think a fair ground, especially for this fight, is allow the leg kicks. Is that fair? Do you guys agree?
I will tell you this right now.
Absolutely not.
If there are leg kicks allowed, Tyson Fury will die.
Yeah, listen, I would argue,
but again, he's not known for it, so he'll know how to do it. But he's not known for leg kicking people.
I would argue
his knees are fucked up. Francis's knees are fucked up.
It doesn't matter. They're going to be fixed by the time they fight. It's Conor and Floyd was a special type of skill set that allowed that fight to be entertaining. I don't see any way to make Fury and Ngannou entertaining because anything that's just hands, no matter if it's MMA gloves, it doesn't matter what gloves it is. They could wear freaking pillows on there. It doesn't matter. Fury will school him. As soon as you add in anything else, whether it's wrestling, kicks, whatever, 3 leg kicks to Tyson Fury's legs, and he is going to be ruined. Maybe
Francis, who's not known for kicking and his knees are bad, though. It could be, but isn't there a better chance of that than a guy like Cyril Gahn, for instance, and you allow leg kick, who's known for a Muay Thai kind of thing?
Anybody who doesn't take leg kicks on a regular basis or at all, or doesn't train leg kicks, right? The same way that you have the feeling of maybe like a blue belt being able to take down a boxer, it's the same thing with leg kicks, bro. If you've never taken one, that shit, you feel that shit in your spine, bro.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Hey, listen, Omar, what we like to do here on Unboxing is full exposure, okay? I once met a Muay Thai guy in a boxing, just to spar and stuff. And I did all right, against and I'd never fought any kind of real amateur fights and stuff like that, and the guy was pretty good with more. And he was a little mad at me. I said, "Go ahead and you can kick my legs, dude." I felt like my leg was broken. One kick, I allowed him only one fucking kick. Yes, you are right. So, but all I'm saying, I guess, is that, like you guys said yourself, right there, is that. If you just have it a boxing match, and it doesn't really matter if you make the gloves MMA size, right? 8-ounce glove. That's not going to really matter that much at the end of the day, especially when people are like, oh, but he has so much power. Dude, this guy got up from the death shot of Deontay Wilder. That doesn't really matter as much. And I guess my only point that I'm saying is, tell me if I'm right or wrong. If we're talking about implementing rules, give me a better idea, because I think if you implement the wrestling, that's the most difference that you make.
Agreed.
I think if you're going to do something different, maybe the leg kicks could, not that he could still win. I'm just saying that's the fair ground more than allowing wrestling or jiu-jitsu, right?
If I had to pick a something, I think leg kicks is still too extreme. I would say maybe you allow active clinch fighting and elbows, and that could make it
listen,
a little more interesting.
Mark, God bless Mark. It's a Tyson Fury fight. This man uppercutted Dillian White, put him on Queen Street, and pushed him. This man fucking just clinches elbows.
Don't get me wrong.
I mean, come on. I love the guy. This is a Tyson Fury fight. You don't need that rule set. It's gonna be there, bro. The ref's gonna let it fly.
Oh man,
dude, that was exactly my thought though. That was exactly my thought, though, was to allow actual clinching, like open arm, holding from the tie clinch.
It really is kind of there, dude. The thing about boxing matches, and I'm joking a little, but that is Fury fights. And the thing is they have a lot of ones like that where it's due to the ref, dude. It's similar to MMA, how you have like refs will stop things and be like, oh, they stop it too early. Oh, this guy stops it too late. They'll be like, what state are we in of how we judge the round? That's kind of similar with boxing and clinches and stuff. Some referees really let that thing go, dude. And then, some referees are historically known for just like the moment it happens, they're breaking it up.
I mean, like fully let it go. Like there is no breakups unless Fury is able to escape it, is what I mean. I think that's the only way to make it mildly interesting.
Especially if they have gloves that have open hand, that would actually give them real control. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man. Good point, Omar. I didn't think about that. That's a really good point.
And an elbow over the top from Ngannou, that's fucking murder as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. That is a good point. I didn't even consider that. With the 8-ounce gloves, I'm just considering punch and power and, you allow the grab. That is a good point.
So bringing in
MMA gloves, full clinches without a break, and elbows allowed, and I'm interested.
Only break if there's a real stall in the action.
Sure.
If they're just hugging and wrestling, dude. But otherwise bringing in the element from MMA that the clinch is a valid position that they're allowed to fight in and out of, and allow elbows in short range.
And we keep
it
above
Tyson Fury's leg being broken. I agree with you guys on this one. That's the rule set. Set it up, dude. You heard it first here on the MMA show.
We solved it. Okay. All right, let's keep this thing humming.
Oh, wait. Last thing I want to say. I did have this last thing really fast. For Tyson Fury, don't be mad at me, Mike, okay? For Tyson Fury, the last thing, dude, how much more appreciation do you guys have for Deontay Wilder now in a losing effort after seeing that Dillian White fight?
I had it already, to be quite honest. I couldn't say enough about that guy after.
A lot of people didn't. You told me that. We watched it together, and you told me that. A lot of people didn't, though.
Yeah. No, my biggest, and when Fury's gone, he might be the champ again.
Yeah, my biggest issue with Wilder is just his inability to tighten it up. That's really all it's ever been. Is when people are on.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But go and look at that fight now and be like, how crazy is it that we're not making the argument ever that Wilder can really box and he's just got the power. Everybody kind of knows that, and then still look at that man's effort and look at what Tyson Fury just did to Dillian White, who I will tell you is known as a very good boxer, dude.
Yeah, he made it look easy. I'll be 100% honest. Tyson Fury made that whole fight look super easy.
He's a unicorn, for sure. Let's move on. I have so many more questions. I have so many questions for you, Tommy, about your all-time rankings, what you said about that you would take Fury over anybody in an actual fight. But let's move on. Another fun fight that's coming up. Well, yeah, we're going to have him on again for sure. One of the more exciting fighters in boxing, Shakur Stevenson, has a big fight coming up against Oscar Valdez, a unification bout going down. I believe it's at super featherweight. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy. Valdez, I believe, is the WBO super featherweight champ, and Stevenson has the WBC and Ring Magazine championships.
Opposite. Stevenson has WBO. Oscar has the WBC. But yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So break down this fight for us. What's going on?
Okay,
both guys undefeated, right?
This is what. Listen, we got a deep cut coming a little bit later, but this one's going to be quicker. I don't have too much. Let me just list off my notes here. I don't have too much to say about Shakur. I want to tell you guys that when we talk about this Katie Taylor-Serrano fight, it's a 50-50 fight, and we're going to break that down real deeper later on. If you guys want a pick that you want to feel safe with, if you're trying to gamble, you put your money on Shakur Stevenson by decision, 100%. And there is no, he won, but it's Shakur Stevenson by decision because he hasn't shown the stopping power, but he is, and I want to be clear, a phenom. He's a phenomena of boxing. He is the next great. He is tied in the very best technical boxing fight you could ever see in this modern era is Shakur Stevenson versus Vasily Lomachenko. Those guys are leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else in technical boxing capability. Okay, and my whole thing about this is that Oscar Valdez, I like Oscar Valdez. I'm not even a guy who hates on Oscar Valdez for the negative P test. He just got caught. Everybody's using that shit, I think. Most people are. Most pro athletes are for sure. And if you got caught up with it, you're like, God damn it, I know everybody else is getting away with this fucking thing. Why me? But I love him. His performance, Oscar Valdez against Miguel Berchelt, when Berchelt was still undefeated, when Berchelt was on the border of taking over the most title defenses in place of the late, great Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Miguel Berchelt was a monster. Everybody didn't want to fight him, and that's really true. That's similar to how Canelo kind of waited out Triple G a little bit, at least a little bit, but he did. This is a classic case of no one wanted to fight Miguel Berchelt. Oscar Valdez got that title shot off of fighting nobodies like a bunch of other people. He passed people way more deserving of the title shot who literally turned down that title shot. So full credit to Oscar Valdez for putting on an absolute, not just because he's a power hitter, that's what he is, and not a boxer, and then putting on a boxing clinic on Berchelt. That was an incredible performance, but after that, Valdez went on to basically, they gave him the win. I thought he handedly lost his last fight against Robson Conceição, who's an incredible boxer as well. Not as good a boxer as Shakur Stevenson. And I think we already watched the man lose to a boxer not even close, but not even as elite as Shakur Stevenson. We already just watched it in his last fight. He couldn't find the guy's chin the whole time. He took over with basically getting off shots and just going crazy to the guard of Conceição that were being blocked a lot of times, really. I mean, and Conceição, for my money, won those first 7 rounds. So the fight's over there, unless you get the bet. Anyways, I think we already watched this fight, only less hardcore of you can't touch me. I mean, guaranteed Oscar Valdez does not find one clean shot on this man.
Oscar Valdez is 30-0.
Huh?
Oscar Valdez is 30-0.
Yeah.
And Stevenson, I think, is 17 or 18-0. So they're both undefeated. But Valdez is 30.
He sure is. Hey, let me tell you, Mike. the money's really good on the line for the by decision. Shakur Stevenson, again, check it out. It's
I was just
going to be great.
I'm surprised with as confident as you are. I'm surprised Valdez is only plus 450 on the line because plus 450 in boxing is like not even that wide.
And you know what? I don't even know this. What do you got odds there for the decision?
I'm looking.
No,
I don't have it for the decision. I'm just looking at the.
It's going to be tighter because you're calling the way that it ends there, so it'll even be tighter. It'll even be better for your money, close to even money, and double back what you get. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, this is a real confident one. This is my confident pick that I give you guys on this podcast, and my passion and the true love for the sport comes through on the following segments. This is my confident pick.
Okay.
Shakur Stevenson's the next great big thing. He is the WBA holder or WBO, and he'll be getting this WBC belt 100%. From Oscar Valdez. The last people that hold belts in that weight class is Roger Gutierrez and a guy's name who I can't even pronounce, and I'm an avid boxing fan. He could stay there and clean house on these guys in the next couple months if he wanted to, just for the sake of saying I unified the division. But and that would be great for him too. But there's even a good chance that he goes, boxing fans that are real boxing fans know what's up here, and I'm just going to move up to 135 and mix it up with Loma, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, all of those great guys, and he has a problem for them to solve when he gets in the squared circle with them.
Wow.
Okay.
Awesome.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I'm ready for this breakdown here.
Okay.
I fucking love Amanda Taylor.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. O'Neill, but Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, is this one of the biggest women's boxing fights in women's boxing history?
You tell me, Mike.
I know. You tell me. You're the expert here.
Okay. Yes, it is. I think everybody knows that. I got some great points to lay out as far as.
Would you say it's the biggest women's fight ever?
It is the biggest women's combat sports fight of all time, and that's including MMA. And that's not to say that either of these ladies, with all due respect, and they might be, but it's not even to say that they're better than Amanda Nunes or they're better than, Rose Namajunas or Shevchenko or anything like that. But it is to say that this is the most competitive fight that has ever took place in women's combat sports, period. Because it takes two to tango, and that's what makes great fights.
Love it.
And this is an absolutely legendary fight. The many things that ESPN ranks. There's different rankings for different things, but they're all pretty close. So if even the other all the other bodies that rank pound for pound lists have this pretty close to this, but ESPN. Ranks Katie Taylor number one female fighter, period, and ranks Serrano number two female fighter, period. So this is number one versus number two as far as they're concerned. And all the other lists will not show Katie worse than number two. They will not show Serrano worse than number three. And so
Who's
this
the other
is a
that gets
highly
mixed in on some
competitive.
lists?
What's that?
Who's the other woman that gets mixed in on some lists?
Clarissa Shields.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay.
And so I could do a rant on Clarissa Shields right away. Just because you brought that up, we'll bring that up now. So Clarissa Shields is phenomenal. Clarissa Shields is a lot bigger than these girls, okay? Right. So Clarissa Shields does not have competition in her weight class, period. That is directly why Clarissa Shields has gone to MMA fights to try to prove her greatness, because God bless her, she's very competitive. She is amazing. And it's not just that she's bigger. She is a great boxer. But this is, again, why I don't do hey, does Clarissa Shields beat up Serrano and Taylor in a street fight? Probably. But that doesn't relate. Because, again, it's why I like to make my pound-for-pound ratings off of level of competition that you fought. And there's nothing there for Clarissa Shields other than Savannah Marshall. And they're going to fight soon. And even that, dude, that fight's not the same. And I've heard people, that's the real... Dude, that Savannah Marshall's the only girl with a pulse who can fight Katie Taylor. Who can fight Clarissa Shields. Okay, she's the only girl with a pulse. Period. That could fight her. It's not. You cannot compare that to this fight. This is the greatest female fight ever. That not only are they ranked number 1, number 2. This is also. Do you guys know that this is the second largest pre-sale in Madison Square Garden history?
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
You guys know that?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
I saw it today.
This fucking, because people appreciate seeing, and especially in this day and era, of seeing, who can come up, who can do this, and really, I mean, they could have put together a show that kind of said this and sold this to people. This is the real deal, dude. And not only that, you're talking about boxing, which is a sport where if they ever make the great fights, they're later than you wanted them to be always. This fight is on time, baby. Number 1 versus number 2. Katie Taylor has unified all 4 belts and the Ring Magazine belt. Every belt. No one can have belts, dude, when Katie Taylor's around. Nobody can have belts. Okay, and in the lightweight division, and then you have Amanda Serrano, who is men or women, all time only second to Manny Pacquiao in the most accomplished fighter in moving up and down 7 different weight classes, and she's only second to Manny by him moving up 8 weight classes. So she's right there. She's got 40. What her record is 42-1-1. Amanda Serrano. She has 30 KOs in shorter rounds that they still give, unfortunately, for women's boxing. I was kind of hoping that this would be the marker where they do normal 3-minute rounds for these girls that are just as high level as anybody else. They're fighting other women that are, they're not. I don't see the reason why they do the shorter rounds, but that's a direct reason why you don't get a lot of KOs in women's boxing, even with power hitters. And so still Serrano has out of 42 wins, 30 of them by KO. She's only two KOs away from being the most the highest ranked knockout out of all of her wins of any female fighter ever. And then you have Katie Taylor, and Katie Taylor might be the most historic Irish, but she might be the most accomplished when she calls it a day, because she's close now. Katie Taylor might be the most historic, accomplished Irish fighter of any fighting sport, man or woman. She might be. She's already unified every single belt. She's defended them 4 times. She's a gold medal Olympian. She's just, she has not lost. She is 20-0. She does not know defeat.
But does she have
if we're not counting money, I guess, well, we can go credentialed, perhaps. Maybe the resume is better. Because Conor, by far, is more successful.
So hands down, man or woman, what I'm say is not all fighting sports. That it would be for boxing. Okay. It would be for boxing. But that's man or woman. Because most Irish fighters, and as an Irish man myself who loves Irish fighters, okay, that most Irish boxers are more loved for pulling out a great underdog win or being incredibly tough competitors who make historic fights, but not necessarily so accomplished. Carl Frampton was the closest person that's an Irish boxer who actually was going to accomplish unifying 2 divisions, but he failed at doing that at the last moment and then retired. And Katie Taylor is damn close to that right now.
But does she have a whiskey? That's what I want to know.
What's wrong?
We paused,
you don't drink,
I'll ask you a quick question.
Backwards cunt. That's a Conor line from that dark ass.
I'll ask you a quick question here before you continue. I know that Serrano is coming up for this fight and that she's fought as low as like 115 pounds.
Yes.
When they stand next to each other, they look to be relatively the same size. Do you think the size is going to be a factor or a non-factor?
It will be a factor, yeah. It will be a factor because you know this. You guys know this. This is literally zero difference between 2 sports. We're not talking about sports with balls here on these podcasts, unless you count the gumption, right? But we're not talking about sports with balls here. We're talking about, combat sports. And so, yeah, that's the weight cut thing is exactly the same for anybody else. And so I know you guys already know what I'm talking about here. It is no different for boxing. When you get two people, sometimes you get somebody visibly looks bigger and you're like, God damn. But you guys know that when you're cutting weight and stuff and you're seeing throughout history, and people cutting weight down and you can tell that's not their natural weight class, it does affect them. Katie Taylor, there's a reason that she's unified the belts at that division and not chose to go up and down like Amanda Serrano.
Okay.
And another thing just quick to touch on that is that, the level of competition. I don't know if you guys probably don't know Jennifer Hahn, huh? She's a great female boxer. She has like 4 other sisters that box. She has a brother that boxes. She's from a family of boxers. Katie Taylor has a win over her. Natasha Jonas won not too long ago and is a newly found world champion at that lower weight class. She has fought Katie Taylor, and Katie Taylor won. Delphine Persoon is a legendary female boxer who is on the verge of becoming like these women. She is 43-1, a better record than Amanda Serrano. Katie Taylor won against her. It was a close competitive fight. Had a second fight. Cleaned house on her again. Let's run that a second time and fucking clear that right up. Jessica McCaskill, a newfound champion. Katie Taylor has a win over her. There is not much to name in the competition level of Amanda Serrano with double the amount of professional fights that Katie Taylor has had, despite being 3 years younger than her. There is not much to name in her resume besides like Bermudez, who's still not that great. She's not as good as any of those girls that I just listed. 6 great wins. Katie Taylor is only 20-0 for pro fights, but she was an Olympian before that. She has a storied amateur career, and in those pro wins, you guys know this probably, right? Boxing is different where they build you up slower, and if you get a fighter. Basically, anytime, if you get a fighter that's willing to be like, I kind of like this, and I'm making money each time, and it's all right, and this happens a lot, they'll kind of milk that. The promoters love it if you milk that. Sure, I don't want a tough fight. Give me whoever the mandatory is every time. And the promoter loves it, and usually the fighters love it. Katie Taylor won her first world championship in her pro boxing career in her 7th fight, which is really unheard of. I'll tell you that's up there, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I'll tell you if there's a quickest pro fight champion, it's going to be like 5 fights in or something of all time. So that's up there all time for somebody just pursuing. And since that 7th fight, has fought all these great people. She is 20-0. Wow. She is legendary. She's an absolute legend of boxing. Both these women are.
So. Before you get to your pick, we'll build the drama a few more minutes here. Let me ask you this. With Katie Taylor being, we'll say, the more experienced fighter if we're including her amateur career, which is like over 100 fights, with her being the bigger fighter in terms of weight class, and now you're just telling us her having fought the better levels of competition across her career, why do you think Amanda Serrano is coming in as the favorite? I mean, it's slight as all hell. It's minus 130, but why do you think Serrano is the favorite? Simply because of the threat of the knockout?
Because of the threat of the knockout, but it's not as much that it would just be like, oh, because she does have good punching power, but it's really more to do with like not a one punch knockout to the head. She could do that, but I wouldn't count on that. She could get a knockout against Katie Taylor with the way that she goes to the body. Taylor is known for protecting her head and being very defensively sound there, but kind of ignoring body shots. I think that it's a matter of size and where you're at, and that's why they have weight classes, and that's man or women, right? So, but there's a reason that you see more knockouts with men, and especially the more you go up in weight. It is kind of because of this, knockouts to the head, and you could be losing a fight, and Derek Lewis style just knock somebody the fuck out, you know.
Totally.
But with Serrano, she really likes to target the body, dude. And her thing is, I mean, she can power punch, she can have a good straight right hand or a hook or whatever, but her thing is actually like power punch into the body. And, you know, and Taylor's kind of, that's the thing here. Like, Taylor's kind of known for ignoring, like, historically. Like, you watch any Katie Taylor fight, she doesn't get hit a lot. She'll get a lot of stuff against the guard. But you know what? She also doesn't move her head a lot. And she will straight up kind of ignore and let people land body shots on her. I don't think she wants to do that with Amanda Serrano. But I also think I give her credit, you know, both these women credit. I think I give her credit that her and her coaches are going to tighten that up a little. I think that they know just from the resume. If you watch Serrano fights, dude, she just rips girls' bodies up, you know. And I think that they can't possibly watch any film on Serrano whatsoever against any opponent and come away with like, yeah, we could just let those fucking body shots go. It's okay. We'll eat them, you know.
All right, so where are you going here? Give it to us.
So, yeah. Serrano's whole thing is that she's going to go to the body. She'll be a little successful in that. If she's going to the body and she brings Katie Taylor's hands down, you know, to finally cover the body, and it's not because she's not an on-off defensive, she doesn't use head movement. If she stands there and covers or backs up is what she does, Taylor. So if she just gets her to bring her hands down, that's kind of trouble because then, you know, it means one that she hurt her to the body, but also that she can go up top on her. But you know, we haven't seen Serrano tested against good opposition, and though I give her credit for probably coming into this fight well prepared, I don't think that she. I was going to pick Serrano even. But I'm not. I'm picking Katie Taylor because I have to. I have to, dude. It's a 50-50 fight, and this is why I tell you, don't shoot me, okay? I might be wrong on this one. I'm telling you guys ahead of time. Don't bet on this one. Sit back and enjoy history on this one. Do not bet on this one. But if you put a gun to my head, I have to go Katie Taylor because that's where my heart resides, and I don't like to do that, so I won't be placing a bet on that fight. But yeah, her level of that means a lot to me, dude. That means a lot to me, and it always has, and I think that means something. Of course, anything can happen in combat sports, but I think more times than not, I credit myself on when I'm right to being based on the fact that as I've mentioned throughout this podcast, that I value very much your level of competition that you fought. I value that over how many KOs you've had. I value that over how many wins in general you have or what you've accomplished. If a guy is getting kind of robbed in a decision almost, you know, like putting up the most competitive fight against somebody that he or she has no business being in the ring or the octagon with, I value that very highly, whereas I think a lot of people can say that was a great fight, but they don't value that. I value that incredibly highly, and I don't count that person out again after seeing stuff like that. And so I think that the level of competition will come into play here, and I think that you know that Katie's gonna take advantage of Serrano. I also think that a lot of Katie Taylor's shots are usually linear, you know, up the middle jabs and straights and stuff. I think she changes that up because I think she knows she can't just go in and out and ignore the bot. I think that we see a new level from Katie Taylor. If I really had to, I think that we see her step it up, and that every single ranking system acknowledges finally that there is no way you can put another woman anywhere over Irish Katie Taylor, dude, who fucking pulls this off, okay?
If Taylor does do it, just
let's go. By the way, I've loved everything that these women have said in their interviews. Everything they've said in their interviews, that they want the fight, yeah, they want to win, but their whole thing about this, both of them, their whole thing about this fight is, I hope the other person brings it. I am pumped, and they literally are just like not just with what they say, but like the way they look, the aura they present is like a whole thing of just being like, I know what I'm here for, and it's more than me and my win. It's here to make like the greatest female fight that anyone has ever seen, period, and put female fighting on the map because it has been up and coming for a long time.
Love that. Just briefly, you could give me a couple sentences. Assuming Taylor does do it, what do you think it looks like? Like more of a Matador type performance, or where she's picking her apart, or different than that?
Not anything that like specific. The only thing I have a feeling about is that no matter what happens, I think Serrano starts off pretty damn strong, rips her to the body a bit. I think that Katie has to adjust to that and then does, though, you know, and takes those later rounds and gets it by decision. Not only has she never lost, but Katie Taylor, like I said, dude, she doesn't use a lot of head movement, and she does ignore shots to the body. So though she hasn't been in there with a body puncher like Serrano yet, I mean, she does this with every opponent and just kind of is like, I don't need to move my head much. Like, she has proven to, and she's fought the better level of competition, like I said. So she has proven to have had a chin on her. She is no Floyd Mayweather, just being very slick. That is not Katie Taylor. She is a come forward, she is a style fighter. She is a kind of a volume puncher over time, and she routinely uses her durability, as something that will lead her to victory. And I think she does that again here. And I think that also, even though Serrano's like vicious and taking some of those first rounds, I think Serrano tires later because she goes, God damn it, it's just natural, dude, for anybody. It's like a Khabib, right? Could you imagine a fight where, and Khabib's got a little bit of a chin on him, dude, he's been hit before. So could you imagine a fight, right, is basically where Khabib can't get the takedown, Could you imagine a fight like, he can't get the takedown. He's not getting starched, knocked out. He just can't get the takedown. And it's going 5 rounds. You get into the 4th round, and he hasn't gotten one, dude. Like, I think that any human being, because he's pretty goddamn granite, and just like, I used to hate that guy, but he just like, he's a good example to use. I think even him, but that means anybody. We've seen it with Mike Tyson. I think you reach a point in a fight where you go, your willpower just goes, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, for real, this is so different, dude. I just cannot put this person away, and I just can't. Even when I'm having success, like, I'm so fucking tired. And I just can't, dude. Like, I can't hurt him, and I've really used everything, and I'm so tired. And I think every human being has a moment like that, and I think Serrano will feel that as, like, I've won a lot of these rounds. I'm just tired, and I recognize with 3-4 more rounds to go that I already, in my own mind, I will not finish Katie Taylor. And so I think that's what Katie thrives off of.
I'm glad I asked that question. I liked that answer.
Yeah.
All right. So give us one more thing before you get out of here. I know that's the big fight, and I know we're still a week away from
Lead me in. I'm listening. Into the ring. Lead me in.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Lead me in.
All right. I know we're a week away from Canelo stepping into the ring, and I know that on your next episode, as I'm talking to nobody here, you're going to do your full Canelo preview. But give us just a little touch on what Canelo's got coming up here.
So Canelo's got Demetrius Bivol, and Demetrius Bivol is a very good fighter. Okay, he is a very good fighter. I know Omar wanted this one, huh? I got you, buddy. I fucking got you. So
me and Alvarez.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing: is the real question, right? If we're being honest, Demetrius Bivol way bigger. All these guys are going to be way bigger, dude. There's middleweights that are bigger than Canelo. So anytime he's up against a Kovalev, these guys that are out lightweight, they're going to visit, like we talked about before. It's not, if you're a casual fan, listen, we'll tell you he's not natural for that weight. Any person with fucking eyes can look and see that Canelo's a lot smaller in reach, muscle, everything than all of these guys that are at light heavyweight. His body is not meant for that, and he is so great. He is so great and that is why he is pound for pound number one, that he's doing that, dude. He has no business being up at that weight class. But this is a big part of why he's... And people think, oh, it's the Triple G stuff. You know, I thought he should have lost that Triple G, that first fight, you know? And the second fight was a lot better. And people argue that. I think he deserved to win that second fight. But that's what people kind of give him credit for, as launching his thing. And me, it's more a combination of that and that you're doing all this stuff at light heavyweight. Dude, he hasn't been at cruiserweight. Hey, where's cruiserweight, dude? You're skipping weight classes and going up and just being like, nah, it's all right. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. He'll do whatever, and one day we might see him at heavyweight. Who knows, dude? Who fucking knows? This guy's so small against Kovalev, it just looks like that's not right. They're having this going on. And in the Kovalev fight, only because, dude, Kovalev is not on the same level as this man, but only because of the exaggerated reach and weight and all that. Kovalev was stealing some of those rounds from him, and then he just got the man out of there. I think it was the 11th round? Some, for God's sakes, dude. That's why this guy's great. I think he pulls it off again, but I think the only thing that you can ask yourself is, does he stop him, or does it go all the way because of the sheer size difference? And if you want a gambling pick, you know you've come to the right spot, right? 11th round, Canelo, 11th round stoppage. Similar to the Kovalev fight, because the body is so different. That's not close. It's not moving up one way. It's not even close. He shouldn't be in there. He's so great. He knows he's losing the fight, and he'll pull and from jabs and staying on the outside. Nothing terrific because of the great size advantage, and he'll know I gotta stop this guy. Similar to the Kovalev fight, and I think he does it. The real guy at the end of the video game for Canelo is the other Russian guy. I'm forgetting his goddamn name right now, but and I think I'm dropping it. I swear to God, you guys, okay, I know what I'm talking about. The other guy, the other guy, he had a bad fight. He had a bad fight, his last fight, and he got cut up pretty good. But he ended up stopping the guy and winning that. But that guy's the real guy at the end of the video game for Canelo, or going back down to middleweight. And fuck Charlo and all those. I mean, I like them, but that's not competitive.
Beterbiev, is that who you're talking about?
Beterbiev. Yeah, Artur Beterbiev. Thank you, Mark. Hey, God bless you. Hey, shout out, before we go, listen. I'm going to say, you guys have me back on here again, and we're going to tell a story from me and Mark's youth that I remember, and maybe he doesn't. God,
that's going to be bad because I have no memory of anything, so I don't even know.
You guys want that? Dude, have me back on here. We'll clarify with Mark. We got this, dude. I got that right in the yeah, I got that right in the pocket, man. Okay?
All right.
All right.
Well, listen, before you get out of here, Mike wanted you to stick around for the trivia because it is boxing related.
Ooh.
Okay, real quick. Our trivia questions are a little short tonight. I have a warm-up and then sort of a main one. Okay, so for the warm-up, since we have Tommy on, boxing and MMA are colliding. I thought the trivia questions should reflect that. So
this is for all of us, correct?
It is correct.
Okay.
The answer is
Thank
James
God,
Toney.
huh?
I don't know if you're just trying to stump Tommy or if we're all involved here.
I plucked out two notable times that MMA and boxing have crossed over. So the first one is going to be Mr. James Toney, legendary.
Lights out, baby.
Lights out, James Toney. 77-10, 3 draws, 2 no contests as a pro with 47 knockout victories. Tommy, can you name the MMA legend that James Toney fought in the UFC?
Oh, dude. All right. No, I cannot, but I'll give a crack at it. Okay, you really stumped me on this one.
This was in 2010.
Is it Frank Mir?
Okay, this was in
Not a bad
2010.
guess.
Not a terrible guess. 2010.
It's a terrible guess. It's okay.
It's okay.
We're still in it all the same.
UFC 118. He lost to Randy.
You know it?
Of course.
Couture.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randy
You
the
kidding
Natural
me?
Couture.
I play that fight back in my head on a repeat basis. That fight is
God
so
damn it.
ridiculous.
I didn't know that,
Let
but
me,
I
let
should
me
have.
see if the guys. Let me see if Mark and Omar can remember this aspect of it. Round 1 finish, 3 minutes 19 seconds. UFC 118, Boston, Massachusetts. What was the submission?
It's a rear naked
I
choke.
knew it was a submission. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. What would it have been? Let's see.
Yeah.
I remember him being on top.
Come on, Mark, dude.
I remember
Was
this
it-
dude going for like the bottom of his legs, like slurping,
Hey, it could have been any
slurping
submission
James
he wanted,
Toney's
huh?
legs
Is that
up.
fair? It could be. Yeah.
And
I believe- I believe
think
Mo-
he worked. He worked to his back, and he ended up getting because James Toney tried to sit up, and he tried to
Was
get
it a
on his
guillotine?
belly and
Did
sit
he
up.
sit up into a guillotine?
Yeah, I'm
I
going
think it's a rear
guillotine.
naked. I'm going rear naked.
So Tommy says guillotine. Omar says rear naked. Mark.
I said guillotine, so I can't change it now. Even though I
Guillotine
heard you
is
say no
head
already.
down, right?
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
okay. Hold on. He ankle picked James Toney from about 8 feet away.
right.
That
I
sounds
remember.
about right.
And
Yeah, right?
quickly advanced position, and he sunk in an arm triangle.
Oh, dude, that's what I was saying. Then I changed my mind.
We were
Damn
way
it.
off.
Okay.
I swear that's what I was going to say, but for some reason I thought I remembered Tony coming up, so I was like, it must have been a guillotine. Fuck, I should have
Okay.
stuck with
I
it.
remember.
No,
something
that's
completely.
good.
We all
I'm not
remember
alone.
shit that didn't happen.
Okay. Number 2. I don't know if this is going to be easier or harder, but we're going to see. The other time that MMA and boxing have collided much more recently in a big way, Conor McGregor came over to the boxing world and challenged Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. in an exhibition. Was it an exhibition or it was technically a pro bout?
No, it was real.
No, it's a
it was
pro
a pro
bout.
bout.
That's what got Floyd to 50-0.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
okay.
right.
We all know how that fight went down. Conor had some moments early. He landed that famous uppercut against Floyd coming in that moment. Ultimately, the tide turned. Floyd did his thing and got Conor out of there by TKO. The referee stepped in. This went down August of 2017, which was 5 years ago now. I feel like we're still in 2017.
Wild.
Unbelievable. At the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada. What round did this
10.
stoppage come in?
10.
I was going to say 11, but I'm definitely wrong, judging
Okay,
by the
no, it's
confidence.
definitely
It was
10.
10. It was 10. I thought
Definitely
this was
10.
going to be. I thought this one was going to be a little bit harder for Mark and Omar at least.
Yeah, I said 11. You got me.
Yeah.
I remember that one
close.
being 10.
I was close.
We all had the Mandela effect with that fucking
Oh
James
God!
Toney fight.
If you,
though.
I would not have known. I would have been like
Yeah.
8, 9. Who knows?
Yeah.
That
You guys,
stumped the hell
you guys,
out of
Tommy,
everybody.
like a savant, Tommy came right in with a 10 immediately. Oh
Yeah,
my
like,
God.
wasn't it a knockout? No, it was an arm triangle. Yeah.
I spent fucking weeks defending Conor McGregor in that fight because I'm a
Hell
huge Conor
yeah.
McGregor fan and people were giving me a lot of shit about it after it happened. And I was like, listen, fuckers, he did really
No,
well.
the world's weird, dude. Even the boxing community is like, well, of course that would always happen. Dude, I was like, I love Conor, but this is not good, and this won't end good and stuff. Dude, he was doing very good, and I knew it would be a cardio thing, and he lasted so much longer doing good than I ever thought, dude.
Yeah.
He really prepared like a madman for that.
I think
you
when
could tell, dude.
I think when we talked about it, I think I gave him till the 5th round before he was done. Like I said, he's
Yeah.
got the first 2 rounds, maybe
No,
3
yeah.
to do something.
It's
and
only
then
fair
he'd be
for
done after
anybody.
that. But
Yeah.
I just
10
remember
rounds,
like
man.
Max Kellerman's of the world saying that Conor would never land a punch, and I was like, oh, like I know Floyd's gonna win this fight.
No, I don't
but,
like
this
how-
is just
yeah.
stupidity. And
I don't like
was
how
so
people
happy
were
with
like,
it.
"Oh yeah, Floyd's was carrying him and stuff." Oh, and Floyd just sat there and got uppercutted too, huh? For the show. Hey, for the show, huh? Yeah.
I don't like any of those dudes' takes on those fucking websites. On those
No,
podcasts,
it's too eclipsing
theatrical.
of everything.
It's too theatrical. They get crazy on those TV
Who
shows.
takes I literally love? I know we gotta go. I know it's fucking late.
Chael
for
Sonnen.
Not for people that live in Oregon, but for
Chael
people on the East
Sonnen.
Coast. No. So I was gonna say a boxing guy who has begun dabbling in MMA, and I could listen to him all day. Teddy Atlas.
Oh, love Teddy.
Oh yeah,
Always loved
Teddy.
Teddy.
Hey, Hey, listen, Teddy's great, and I am a very big fan of Teddy, but God bless him, he's losing his mind a little bit. I mean, the man's ranking Terrence Crawford over Canelo Alvarez. What the hell is going on? I always make my argument that Errol should be up higher. He's taking it one step further. He's like, you know what? Just Crawford's number one. Fuck everybody. Dude, it's great.
When I first saw him talking MMA, I was like, oh man, Teddy Atlas has no business talking MMA. But I got to say, he has a lot of good takes. I'm impressed. He's no joke.
He does. I think the credit to him is that he kind of simplifies things more.
Yeah, it's
he doesn't pretend that he knows so much what he's talking about with wrestling or whatnot. He talks more about the heart, what he sees in a fighter, what's going on, like emotionally more, which he can. It is all the same as far as that is concerned. You know.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I still think Stephen A. Smith needs to get fucking fired, but that's
Oh god.
I like this mitt work, dude. He looked tight. Okay, I think he looked good. Hey, you guys, listen. I've had a really great time, dude. I know I look dapper and stuff. I actually haven't been wearing pants this whole time. Been very comfortable because I don't have any pants on. Okay.
Oh man.
Love it.
And that does it.
All right, boys. Well, Tommy, thank you for being.
Have me on again. We'll tell an embarrassing Mark story with me and Mark when we were kids.
I grew up with Mark, so I got some embarrassing Mark stories too.
Let's make it a segment, dude. Next time, save that for me.
I was like 15 years old. So
I'm sure.
Save that for me.
I'm sure Mark has embarrassing stories about us as well.
Hey, you know what? And Mark can shoot a lot of fair play towards me, I'm sure. Okay, Mark's dad's been involved in a lot of embarrassing moments in my life. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay. That being said, gentlemen, thank you. This has been a wonderful collaboration between And New MMA Show and Boxing. Tommy O'Neill, thank you for joining us for your second go-around with our show, and we're looking forward to the third. That being said, enjoy the fights that are coming up. Serrano versus Taylor Canelo. Shakur versus what was that guy's name?
Oscar Valdez.
Valdez. Looking forward to that one, definitely. And we will catch you guys soon. Tommy, we'll see you again, buddy. Any parting shots?
Hey, Mike.
Tommy, thanks for coming on, dude.
Wait, thanks for having me, man.
All right, people.
All right.
We out.
Peace.
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 Oh, he left.